All right, well, there was an assassination attempt. Maybe you heard about it. I don't know. Saturday, July 13th. And then there was some repercussions, and Cheatle is
gone.
Wow. Well, they gave her a little heck, didn't they, on her way out?
Well, I think she knew it was going to happen. Well, like I said, we got a clip here of I can't think of his last name, but Tom from Pet David.
Okay.
Where he kind of explains it, I think, pretty well. I think it was planned. She knew what was going to happen to her. She was prepared for this meeting in a sense. So I think she did her part, and that was her part. So outside of they would have actually got him, I guess, then maybe she'd still be. Maybe not. Who knows? That'd be a weird one.
Very weird one. What crazy times. And then, boy, the gals, too, on Capitol Hill. They're Nancy Mace and Marjorie Greene Taylor. And
there was a couple other ones I couldn't find when I was trying to prepare for this. So it was worth watching. It was.
I don't know if it's all theater, but it is fun.
It's sure as hell seems like it. It doesn't seem like people are really taking it serious. And to be honest, it's been, what, a week?
Over a week.
Over a week. 2 weeks tomorrow?
Yeah. 2 weeks tomorrow, right. Yeah. 2 weeks tomorrow.
It seems already like it's already past tense. Like,
yeah.
Get the FBI had their little hearing, and the director's trying to claim it as it was shrapnel or glass.
Yeah, we're not really sure.
Now they're going to try to delegitimize it. Just what? Again, talk about politics and weaponizing that.
Yeah.
Trying to
I know.
Push another narrative to make it seem like it wasn't as bad as it was, which...
Now, I can't watch every podcast, okay? I work like most of you do for a living, and you work for a living, and, this is something we do on the side, and I can't watch every podcast, but I do pay attention to a lot of talk radio, and I'm not hearing much about, well, what if the bullet had hit Trump? Because then we had the RNC a few days later. I mean, would Nikki Haley be the nominee? No one's saying anything. And she had the reason I bring her up is she had the second, not much, but the second amount, most amount of delegates other than Trump. Not even close, but
I think that's the only reason she was kind of invited, to be honest. I mean, I think that they expected she was invited, and there was other top Republicans that didn't show up. You didn't have Pence didn't show up.
Right.
I can't think of
Romney. There was a whole bunch. Thank God they weren't there.
Yeah, right.
It was a little funny with Nikki Haley. They said no, she's not invited, and then all of a sudden she was invited, and then she came, and she did okay. I don't trust her, and I'm just very worried about her, folks. If you've been watching our program here, and we'll go watch some old ones, I'm still worried about her getting herself somewhere in our government. So
yeah, that'd be unfortunate.
That would be very unfortunate.
Again, weird things that happened before, during, and then after all this. Even CNN. One of the first times they ever live aired a rally was that day. Almost like maybe they knew something crazy was going to happen.
It's a little strange, isn't it?
How perfect would that have been to be able to show his head get kind of on live TV.
And yet, we have people on the other side who may be more Democrat-leaning who think that it was all staged.
All staged, or unhappy that he didn't get killed, which is insane too, because they're supposed to be the party of tolerance.
Yeah, tolerance.
Tolerance. But he should have got shot. He should have. Well, we're all disappointed he didn't get killed. Fucking disgusting. As much as I don't like Joe, I feel bad that if he is dementia-ridden like we all think he is, that they're just using him to continue, like in the whole Bernie, Weekend at Bernie's type thing, You almost feel bad for the guy, but I don't wish the fucker dead. But these people, just don't understand it. I guess after so long of being told he's Hitler, from the other side and the media, I guess are we shocked at something that's happened?
I mean, let me go off for a second here. Scumbag Ken Burns, are you familiar with him at all? He's a big PBS documentarian guy. He's his hair real flat. He's an older guy. What, are you trying to look like a beatnik from the 50s? He was just on MSNBC, I'd say within a week or two before July 13th. People can look it up. And he's, Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy. Well, I don't know. Is that hate speech? Is that insightful? Ken, I think you have every right to say that, if that's what you really mean. But then we and everybody else has a right to give you a rebuttal to that and criticize you for that. You're an idiot. You're a complete idiot. The Democrats, this whole democracy thing, oh my God, Logan, it drives me cuckoo. I don't know if we've already talked about it. I don't want to be too redundant. I know I repeat things, but oh my God. First of all, we are not a democracy. We are a republic. Now, we could be called a democratic republic because we vote, and usually the majority of the votes usually decide. Now, we have electoral college, a little different than majority rules with the presidential, but the other races, I believe, are all pretty much popular vote. So anyway, it all gets crazy, you know. But we are a republic technically. So when people say this democracy stuff, and so what democracy? It's not bad, but just remember, what if the people are all fooled? And don't tell me it's never happened in history. You know, what if all the people are fooled? Look at Germany in the 30s. Okay, people, there you go.
Well, look at the last election.
Yeah.
I mean, I think more and more is coming out that there was all kinds of, whatever you want to call it, interference or, you know, just straight cheating. But yeah, I think they're setting it up for another round of that stuff this time around.
Oh, I hope not. Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. You know, again, every vote counts. We can only, we got to make it a landslide. If you want Kamala, you know, you're gonna have to get out there and actually do some work. If you want Trump, we all got to get out there, and it has to be a landslide. There has to be without a shadow of a doubt. We have to make sure that there was enough votes there. Again, it blows my mind that he got 83 million votes.
Yeah, more than Obama did.
Trump got, what, 81?
He got the second most amount ever.
And if you add all that up together and how many registered voters there were, the numbers don't make sense. So
crazy.
Something's weird.
A little crazy.
In any case, we'll show the clip of Tom from Pat's show and kind of set up the other smaller clips of the senators giving him hell.
Like Tom. I like the whole crew.
Mob cases. And I can tell you, this is a witness that knows she's protected, that is just defiantly looking at everybody with this FU face and giving no answers. She is protected. She reports to Mayorkas. Mayorkas is protecting her. Someone has told her, look, you're being called to the carpet on this hearing. You are going to hear it. These people are raw. They're upset. You're going to hear it from both sides of the aisle. Don't worry about it. Just get through it. She has no further career. What you just saw here is the end of a career. Where does she go after this? She has to have received a promise and protection. This is exactly the way witnesses for the state stonewall district attorneys, and they have that look on their face that they are not worried about anything, and it's defiance because they've got protection in their pocket. I believe she has received the promise of protection, and whether her career continues or not is not material. You look at that, she feels like I'm cool. This sucks. This is a tough day, but I'm cool. I'm going to get out of this.
So it's, I mean, really, if you watch any of it, that was her mentality. That was her attitude. She didn't care. She was very kind of like aloof, like, oh, a lot of the FBI. It's like, okay, why isn't the FBI here? Oh, when they did show up, they didn't give any real more answers other than trying to spin the narrative back the other way.
I almost wonder if she was on a gummy or something, a Valium or something. She was. She kept, just like he said, just almost robotic.
Yeah, right. And then we got a couple of the.
Here we go.
The Senate
here we
ones,
go.
Which were, most of
This
them
could be a good time.
The bangers.
Oh, I want to party with these two girls.
So they'll.
Oh, I want to party with these two girls so much.
They'll be.
Don't tell my wife. Oh, man.
So, Director Cheatle, I have a series of questions, very specific questions. I want very specific answers. Most of my questions are going to demand a yes or no answer. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay, my first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
No, thank you.
You stated earlier, Secret Service is not political. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, would you say leaking your opening statement to Punchbowl News, Politico's Playbook, and Washington Post several hours before you sent it to this committee as being political, yes or no?
I have no idea how my statement got out.
Well, that's bullshit. Some video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th, yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of shit today. You're just being completely dishonest. Mr. Chairman,
able to fly a drone over the entire area the day of the rally and the day of his assassination attempt?
To my knowledge, he did not fly the drone over the entire area.
How did he fly a drone over the area, period? Any part of the area?
Again, I would have to go back and check the timeline of when that took place and when the event.
Why didn't you bring the timeline with you today to answer our questions?
I don't have all of the answers on the timelines based on the criminal investigation.
Were you not prepared today to answer our questions?
I am prepared to answer the questions based on the information and wanted to be able to provide.
Do you have a timeline do you have a timeline at all from any of the day?
I have a timeline that does not have specifics.
That's shocking. That is absolutely unacceptable. That means you are a failure at your job.
I have never had any long gun training in my life. I own an AR-15, and last time I shot it one time my whole life, was 6 years ago. That is until Saturday, where we recreated the events in Savoy, Texas. We recreated what happened in Butler. I was lying prone on a sloped roof at 130 yards at 6:30 at night. And I knew that he had a scope, but I didn't know what kind, red dot or magnified. So I shot 8 rounds from both. You know what the result was? 15 out of 16 kill shots. And the one I missed would have hit the president's ear. That's a 94% success rate. And that shooter was a better shot than me. It is a miracle President Trump wasn't killed. Corey, compared Tory's life is over because that damn shooter made it on the roof. And it wasn't the roof that was dangerous, it was a nut job on top of the roof. You know what else is dangerous? I believe your horrifying ineptitude and your lack of skilled leadership is a disgrace. Your obfuscating today is shameful. And you should be fired immediately. Go back to Garden Doritos. Mr. Chairman, now you're back.
So,
Wow.
well, what's crazy is there's a couple other ones that were pretty good. One of them was talking about, maybe when Joe wakes up from his nap, he'll fire you, shit like that. The insane thing is that there's so much more, really thank God for things like Twitter or X, because it lets so much more information out. So there's a gentleman who did, I know Pat talked about this on his too, I had seen it the day before, where he had taken all the audio from all the videos and everything and was able to kind of pinpoint that there were 3 distinct weapons that were shot. So they're able to, you have more evidence too of
3.
3. You have more evidence of a guy on the water tower. I mean, they show. I mean, it's. You
mean on the roof?
Video. No, on the water
the
tower.
sniper, the counter
So
sniper.
It seems to be the narrative that is being pushed out through these citizen journalists or whatever types of people that are putting this out here, is that there was the guy on the roof, the crooks, who I would imagine is the patsy, and then you had a guy in the tree line somewhere that was taking shots, and then you had this guy, supposedly this person, up on the water tower. The water tower one, it's a grainy kind of image, but it really does seem like you see a body, you see a figure of a guy, you see his gun. As soon as the shots do take place, you see Secret Service behind Trump completely stop looking in the direction they were, and they kind of reset, and they're looking down back behind at this tree line. There was also video footage of I don't know if it was the sheriff's department or what department was out there, but they were on the roof talking to Secret Service where Crooks was, and they're pointing at windows, and that they say they got pictures of 2 other suspects and supposedly had 2 other suspects in custody. But yeah, we haven't heard anything about that yet. Up until the
So wait, they supposedly have 2 other people in custody right now?
Supposedly. That was coming from the video of Secret Service and this other guy talking. The guy was talking to Secret Service, who had gear on in his police body type cam, had his phone out and was showing pictures to the Secret Service member. So there were other people involved. To what capacity, we don't know. But yet we don't, like the senator said at the end of that clip, is that he didn't know what site. We have no idea. We have no information. It's been 2 weeks and we have no information on what actually happened. Like, other than it was this supposed registered Republican 20-year-old kid that amazingly thwarted Secret Service and law enforcement to get up to the most common place that you could possibly get to take the clearest shot you could possibly get, and possibly tagged him in the ear. That's all the information we have. We don't have real information. Nothing's actually come out. Now, is that the media's fault because they're just not talking about it? Because they haven't. You'd think if this was done on Biden that you'd have around the coverage, like all the speculation that we have on any other, you know, like on X specifically, you would see, or any of these alternative news networks on like YouTube and whatnot, you'd think you'd hear about this shit, but we haven't heard anything. So we don't, it's another, to me, it's cover up. Like, why is no one talking about it? Why isn't anything being said, you know? So I think these are important questions that aren't being brought, and I think it's all being washed over now by what the next subject would be, Biden backing out and Harris taking the reins. So I think it's just going to kind of slowly disappear, and it's just going to be, you know, page 7, you know, back of the newspaper type headlines for any kind of information that comes out about what actually happened.
But if you're Donald Trump, do you want the Secret Service anymore? Or should you hire your own private one? And did you just tell me a little while ago when we were off camera that...
Yeah, I'm not sure. I heard he possibly hired some contract service, or whatever you want to call them, independent security. I don't know if that's true or not by any means, but... Well,
if you were him, would you?
Yeah, I mean, I think...
If you're a billionaire, I'm just saying.
I think you easily should. I mean, I'm sure there's some great patriots, some ex-Marines and Navies and
Navy SEALs
and all that shit.
Marines,
you would think you would hire some of these guys and vet them out, but who knows? You know, for the sake of him just playing the game, he could play the game and just let Secret Service do what they're doing. But
it was so weird when I was watching it happen. I was outside cutting the grass, and I just came in. My wife's like, "They shot Trump," you know. I ran upstairs. I'm getting full of adrenaline and watched it. And right away, the news lady was saying, I don't know if it was ABC or what. She's like, "Yeah, well, they've been saying that Secret Service is understaffed, you know, and ATF says they'll come here and help out if they need to be here, you know." Blah blah blah. Like, it was like right there in the tip of her tongue. It was like really interesting. I mean, maybe it's nothing.
Well, he was denied a bunch of extras. I mean, he was asking and asking and asking. They kept on denying him. I want to say part of the reason was something was going on elsewhere where they needed to, where someone was more important than, you know, the nominee, or at least not at the point, but pretty much the nominee, the Republican Party needed Secret Service, you know, needed protection. And they said, no. And then they're pushing this whole Iranian thing now too. Like, it was the Iranians that wanted to take him out. Well, that's a nice little, because now you guys are kind of falling apart of what's happening with this Republican kid who did all this shit, and now we're gonna backpedal and push it off onto set accounts that happened before. But yeah, you guys knew it, you were aware of the situation, and you still didn't beef up security. So now you're making, this was the real threat. It's like a fucking bad movie. It really is.
Well, you know, and I've talked about before, people that make fun of conspiracy people. What do they always say? "Oh, you can't do that because, you know, something will go wrong." Maybe something went wrong. As I've talked about, Officer Tibbetts, JFK, building number 7, 9/11. There's all kinds of slop. Maybe the plane going down in Pennsylvania, 9/11. Maybe they had to get shot down, okay? There's so many things where you look at a so-called conspiracy where there's slop. There is slop, and things do go wrong, and things don't always, you know, go as planned. But what a mess. Wow, what a mess.